Hello and welcome to another episode here at Big Man in the Woods. My name's Mark and we're discussing 5 things that you should consider before you go camping. So before we dive into these 5 points, just a little bit of housekeeping. Any chance you could subscribe to Big Man in the Woods? Once you've done it, click that notification bell and you'll get all the notifications when I upload my future vlogs. So thank you very much. So the first one is pitch size, okay? So you rock up to your campsite and you've booked site 1, field 3 as a standard pitch, but you've got your awning, gazebo, windbreaker, whatever, because what you didn't realize is the pitch that you've booked is just the small size, so just enough to get your tent on and maybe a few chairs or whatever, and that's it. And once it goes over those boundaries, campsites will have their rules on those boundary sizes, so make sure you find out what you're allowed to take and how big your tent is, because some sizes of pitches, you won't get your big family tunnel tent on it. So just double check, have a run through in the garden, have a little mock up with your layout, make sure that you can put your tent, your dining shelter, your tables and chairs, your fire pit, or whatever you're going to do in that size space, because you don't want to rock up after driving 4 hours to Cornwall to find out that the pitch that you've booked is a small one and you can't get it on it. And also, just as a little bonus thing, find out if you're actually allowed to bring gazebos, because some sites have a total ban on gazebos. So point number 2, do you need an electrical hookup? So not just in caravans. So some of those tent sites, you can hook up your own electricity. So you get a 3-pin cable, plug it into with the outage on the, and you can run your own electricity to your tent. So whether you're using it for your fridge or charging your phone or lights or whatever, or your caravan pitch when you need electricity and you for some reason you've got the wrong pitch with no electricity. Oops. Maybe you're using solar panels or something. So it's something to consider, not just if you're a caravaner, but if you're pitching your tent, you might want to have a bit of electricity just for running the kids' laptops. So don't forget to have a think whether you might need electricity. So point 3, something to consider, how far you're going to be away from the toilet block. So pros and cons, let's have a quick recap. You're near the toilet block if you've got little ones, or if you're like me and you need to go for a midnight pee, you're next to the toilet blocks, not too far to go. Maybe you have a medical condition that you need to use the toilet quite often. You don't want to be the other side of the camping field and the toilet block is the other end and it's a 10-minute walk and you're desperate for a pee at 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So think about that kind of thing. If you get near those toilet blocks, obviously it's going to be busy. You're going to have a flow of traffic all the time, constant flow of traffic, people going to the toilets, using the showers or whatever. Can get quite muddy around it because of the water. And the other thing, in the summer, it can get rather smelly. So it's a double-edged knife, isn't it? Like, do you want to be near the toilets because the ease of access and the showers? But then you don't want it because of the traffic and the smell. 50-50, isn't it? 4th point, something that you probably don't consider is local amenities. Where are you going to get your food from? Are you taking all your food from home, away camping, keeping it in a cooler box? Or are you going to get it fresh every single day? Are you going to go to the camping shop and get your bread, milk, your meats, that kind of thing? Does the camping site actually have a shop that sells food and drink and milk and water and whatever? Some campsites don't. It's just a field, farmer's field with a toilet block or whatever. And the local shops are 10-15 minutes drive. Are you going to be wanting to go to the shops every single day? So just think about that. Have a check out on the camping site before you go. Do they have a shop which sells food and drink? It might have a camping shop that sells spare tent poles and a mallet or whatever, but doesn't sell food or drink. So just double check that, because I've been caught out on that. The last point to think about before you go camping is, can you have an open campfire? That's one of the beauties about going camping, isn't it? Sitting around the campfire, putting the world to rights, having a chit chat, speaking to your kids about what's happening at school, speaking to your partner about work and life and future holidays and I don't know, that kind of thing. Just chatting around the campfire. Love it. Having a drink, having a cup, or having a beer or whatever, and just having a good old chit chat. But some campsites won't allow open fires. Damn, that kind of ruins half of your camping experience, isn't it? That's like, as I said, that's one of the big attractions about going camping, is sitting around the campfire and watching the flames flicker around. So double check, can you have an open fire? Some campsites do allow you to have an open fire, but then there's some restrictions. So you can't have a ground fire, so you can't have on the floor. You need to have it up raised, so maybe you need a fire pit. What kind of fire pit? Do you have a collapsible one? Do you have a washing machine drum like I do? That's quite bulky to take along. There's a whole load of things to consider as well about an open fire, but oh man, I wouldn't go to a campsite if you weren't allowed to have an open fire. Yeah, think about that. One more point I just thought about just now is the flashing flagpole. It seems to be a big thing the last couple of years. You know, you've got a 10-foot flagpole with, I've got flags and stuff. It's quite nice. And also it shows your kids where your tent is, yeah? And if you've got a row of, I don't know, 10, 20 tents, trying to come back, finding your tent can be a bit of a headache. But if you've got a flying flagpole, that's an easy landmark, isn't it? You can walk straight there. But some over the years, it's become very fashionable to run some LED lights up that flagpole. It looks kind of pretty at nighttime with it flashing, then turns into a disco. But just be considerate about your neighbours. Yeah, they might not want that flashing lights at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, because remember, the tents are see-through. And that light is always flashing around, even in the nighttime, and it's quite, yeah, it's not the best. So if you do have a flashing flagpole, love it, brilliant, but maybe turn it off, say at like midnight, so it's not going on into those early hours, annoying your camping neighbours. Yeah. There we go, guys. 5 things plus 1, a bonus point of 5 things that you should consider before you set off on your camping trip. Once again, don't forget, subscribe to Big Man in the Woods, click that notification bell, and watch this playlist here all about camping tips and tricks. And I'll see you next time here on Big Man in the Woods.